Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Chaos Zero Nightmare video, and I think I have some bad news for you here regarding the codex save data application issue. And this is the big issue a lot of us have ran into, and we thought it was going to be a bug that was going to get fixed. However, I think it might actually turn out to be something that's going to upset a lot of players, myself included. Now, you've done it, you've ran through Chaos, you've gotten the deck that you wanted, and it comes back and it's just like, oh man, it added a bunch of basic cards to my deck. It made my deck garbage. I don't really understand that. I don't really like that. And then when you saw this, you saw, oh my gosh, there's a bug. It's a bug officially. Notice follow-up measures regarding the codex save data application issue. But if you read into this, it's going to probably mean the opposite of what you want it to mean, all right? So we're going to get over the gist of this stuff, where they talk about there's been some abnormalities in codex save data. A lot of us was hoping like, oh, maybe it means that it's, well, putting stuff in that it shouldn't be, adding bad cards in, not letting the players know. And they did do a little bit of a previous sort of announcement saying that, yeah, they're going to make it more clean, more clear of what your limitations are when you're doing a codex run or when you're just doing a normal chaos run. So we can maybe get a better idea of like, maybe I should leave my accessory off so it doesn't, you know, take my save data down to the lower threshold that it should be at. Maybe I should be removing one less card so it doesn't add another random card back in. Maybe I shouldn't try to duplicate an epiphany so I could have exactly what it is that I think I'm going to obtain at the end of my run. But that's great that they announced that they're looking into making it more transparent for us. But this is a new one here. And here it is. Adjustment targets save data generated beyond system limits due to error. Adjustments may include card deletion or addition or removal of divine epiphany effects. Okay, to be announced at a later date when they're going to schedule the changes here. Compensation eligibility, all protos whose save data is subject to correction. Compensation details to be announced at a later date. So this is something different than the compensation that we've already been receiving. Moving forward, we will clearly and transparently share all rules and mechanisms related to save data, which is 1000% something that needs to be added to this game, because there's nothing worse than having the agency taken out of making the decisions of what you want acquired and what sort of deck you want shaped and build you want shaped for your characters, because it is a lot of RNG. Even if you open yourselves up to allowing yourself the best potential to get good decks for any of your three characters throughout your run, nothing feels worse. And I know it feels bad to run the chaos and get nothing, but nothing feels worse than running the chaos and starting to get lucky, and then you capitalizing on that and be like, this is my time to shine. This is when I'm going to have my super awesome deck, and for it to change significantly, not like this one, I got like a couple extra cards added back in, but to get significantly changed where it adds like 3, 4, 5 cards in, maybe takes out a divine epiphany. And I like that they're going to do that, and this is the compensation apology we've already received for that. However, here's the one that I'm not sure on, and this is why they have all of this stuff to be announced at a later date. Due to a recent bug, this principle failed, resulting in a critical issue where certain save data intended and exceeded the balance standards. So what does this exactly mean? I'm taking this to mean that not only is it, or was it bugged, and maybe still is, in a couple of certain ways, where it's taking things out of the deck that it might not should be taking out, or adding basic cards back in when it might not need to be doing that. But if you look at some of your runs, this was one that really piqued my interest, and I was like, this had to be a bug. I ran this Ray just through like a level 20. I don't even know if this was like on nightmare mode or anything, and it doesn't look that crazy. But remember, this was a level 20 run, 28k terabytes of data, and this does not look like a 28k deck to me, right? We have a legendary shield here, Shield of the Watcher, very good. We have this Fear of Randomness from the Cthulhu monster, AP +1, draw 1, which is busted, right? We have an Epiphany Snack Time, Exhaust 2, draw 1, heal, right? Exhaust a card, we got 2 of those. we have our ultimate card, and then we have like an upgrade card here. And I was like, for a level 20 run, it didn't add anything back in. I actually didn't take anything outside of her 2 basic attack cards out of the deck. I left this in, and then it's just got like the basic strike. And like either I schmoozed my way in or something was wrong. Because remember, this doesn't look crazy for like a level 7, level 8 codex run. This was from a level 20, and I don't think I was even on nightmare mode run. I might have been on nightmare mode, but regardless, even if I was, what the heck is this doing here? This seems like something that I typically have to, work and slave for in like my level, 65 monster runs or whatever out there at the end of the day to try to get a small deck and for it to keep it like that. A 6-count deck is like insanely small. This is the kind of stuff that I got right here. I'm missing an accessory on this bad boy. It's 46K, and it added in a bunch of other garbage basic cards. I don't even have multiple Divine Epiphany cards. This is just like a normal Epiphany. I duped a bunch. This is a Divine Epiphany, but nothing else has a Divine Epiphany, and I'm missing an entire slot here, and I ran this not at level 20. This was in a codex run, I believe, which has all of its own benefits. I should not be getting something on level 20 that I was getting in a codex run. So does this mean that this deck that I have for Ray that I just can't really replace for a long time, which is amazing because she's a support character with this build, and just having this Sphere of Randomness artifact on her, the trinket here, is broken. Now, does this mean that it's going to get replaced and disappear? I don't know. They didn't say exactly what they're going to do, and I don't know if they're going to come back and correct it all, except for the eligibility one here. I hope they don't delete everyone's stuff because people are going to get real pissed. I'll get pissed. Everyone should be pissed. And the game is too good for this to mess it up, right? You know what? If we got stuff early on and people got stuff early on that breaks the game balance, it doesn't matter, man. It's a PvE game. Don't piss everyone off, please, right? Because it says save data subject to correction. Also, adjustments may include card deletion, addition, or removal of Divine Epiphany effects due to save data being generated beyond the system limit due to an error. And all I can say at the end of the day about this is Smilegate SG, please. I understand that it might cause problems in my daily life. It might cause problems in your daily life temporarily to be like, oh, people have some stuff that's overpowered that they really shouldn't have. I get it. I've seen some of the 76, 78K decks where people are grinding super high levels. And if those are like way beyond the cap that you ever thought anyone would ever be able to achieve, then that's a different discussion. But if it's like, hey man, you got a slightly better deck at level 30 than you should, or you got a slightly better deck at level 40 than you should, then you should probably let that go. If at the end of the day, it's just a big buggy mess and everyone has had stuff and has been able to save data where like 50%, 60% of the save data collections across the entire community is bugged and broken, and you go back and you change all of it, you're going to nuke your game into the floor. You will nuke your game into the floor. Please do not do that. It is a PvE only game. And as long as everything is within the upper thresholds that you want it balanced around, where people aren't having like 2-card decks with the best 2 cards in it or something with, purple everything somewhere, somehow. And it's clearly and obviously a bug. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Don't go overboard on this correction thing, because you do not want a battle again. There's already too much, a little bit of drama here. And I know it's the core element of the game and stuff, but fix it first, and then we can talk about it later, right? If you implement all of this stuff where it's more transparent, people know what they're doing, they can aim for targeting of certain save data builds for them, they might be able to make better ones than what they have right now, especially once they level up and they can start doing harder content. Maybe the ones that they accidentally got an access to a little early on won't be that big of a deal in the long term, and it's not worth burning all of that goodwill in your player base just so you can like temporarily correct what's going on, right? There's like the letter of the law and there's the spirit of the law, right? Sure, you might want to go to the letter of the law. You shouldn't have that. It's busted a little bit. You know, it's a little bit beyond what you should be for your player level right now. But if the spirit of the law is that you should be able to make that eventually, and maybe even make stuff way better than that eventually, it's not worth burning all of that community goodwill just to make sure that your game is perfectly balanced for everybody right away. So we'll have to see what's going on. Let me know what you think about this down below, and I'll catch you guys, God bless, in the next one.